Learning a language is exciting, yes, but learning four at once taught me some hard lessons. In this video, I'm sharing what I wish I knew before I started learning four languages at the same time. From choosing the right dialect to avoiding burnout and actually making progress. Whether you're learning one language or several, these tips, I promise, will save you time and frustration. Let's get right into it. First one is pick an accent early. I learned this one after learning Spanish. When I studied in Spain, I got to Spain and I was like, I do not understand what these people are saying. They sound totally different from what I had been studying all of this time. And it's because I didn't study the Spanish of Spain growing up. So when I got there, I was saying words like anaranjado, and they were looking at me like I'm crazy, saying things like café instead of marron, and they were looking at me like I was crazy, y'all. And the thing is, when you learn languages, you have to understand that depending on where that language is spoken, where exactly on the map, they may have a different accent, which is causing different pronunciation than what you've learned, and they may also have different vocabulary. The dialect is different. So take that into account when you're learning a language for the very first time. And this is also great because it just narrows down one way of saying things. And of course, no, you do not have to marry an accent. You can choose a different accent or learn a different accent later down the line. But as for accent purposes and pronunciation purposes, stick to one in the very beginning to not overwhelm yourself. Number 2, focus on habits, not hours. When I was first learning Arabic, I just thought if I spend 8 hours studying Arabic, it'll finally be in my head. No, you have to equip yourself with the right systems. If you are studying for hours and hours and really that study method is not something that keeps the things sticking in your head and you're constantly on Google Translate rather than learning through experience, well, it's not going to work. If you are not finding fun ways and engaging ways to actually take in the language, well, it's going to go in one ear and right out the other. So don't think it's quantity that gets you quality. It is quality that gets you that long-term memory of the language and actually knowing how to speak that language. Number 3 is don't try to be perfect all at once. I know, especially because I'm learning 4 languages at once, I do have differing levels. And trust me, there's some things that I can do in one language that I'm not even close to doing in another language. And that is okay. You have to enjoy the process and trust the journey because, not to mention, those different languages also have different difficulties based on what your native language is. There's languages that are easier for me to learn because I speak English as opposed to you. If you speak another language, other languages that are hard for me may be very easy for you, just depending on what language that you know. Listen, like they always say, Rome was not built in a day. You don't want to build it in a day. You want to be understood. You want to take your time. You want to perfect that accent because you want to feel close to the culture, and there's no way to do that if you're rushing through the process. Get to know every stage. Learn the language, learn the culture, and find ways that you enjoy learning this language so that it's not rushed and it's just right. And that segues me into another great point, that listen, you are going to make mistakes, whether you like it or not. You're going to say la agua instead of el agua. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to say things wrong. You're going to get tongue-tied. You're going to freeze. And that is okay. That's part of the process. There's no better learning than learning through experience. Because when you learn through experience, it actually sticks with you more. So make those mistakes. Make a million mistakes. Because by the end of it, you will be perfecting your craft. So make mistakes. Don't be afraid to speak. Get something out, because that's another thing. People don't realize that when you speak their language, it just brightens them up. It just makes them feel so much better. It makes them feel like, I don't know, I guess in a way loved. I don't know what it makes people feel like when you learn their language, because I come from speaking a language where everybody learns this language. But for people where they're not expecting, especially Americans, to learn their language, they actually feel like very happy. You should see the look on their faces. So you don't even know the impact you're leaving on people for learning their native tongue and understanding their roots and the way they see the world, and you're seeing the world through their lens in a way. So make mistakes. Nobody cares. It's part of the process, and it's how you're going to learn the best. Next one is consuming native content over apps. Listen to me. We have to take this back to how we learned as children. How did we learn as children? We sat there quietly when we were newborns, and we listened and we listened. And even though we didn't understand what our moms and dads were saying to us, we finally put it together. Glasses, lentes, lata. We eventually got it. And as we got older and we finally figured out those words and how to move our mouth and speak, tata, mama, it's the same thing. Consuming that native content again and again and again and again, then finally catching those little words and phrases through what you see, lata. So you have to understand that you can learn through native content. Watching TV shows, watching movies, listening to podcasts, seeing and really having a lot of comprehensible input. Writing, all of that, doing all of this in the native language exposes you to so much of the language that you have no choice but to take in something. And something is going to stick. These apps are nice. They are nice as reinforcement, but not as something that you say, I'm going to do this every day and I'm going to get fluent in the language. Listen, you will have a 3 million day streak and still not speak that language. But through the native content and learning through comprehensible input, you will learn a lot more. Now, the apps are great, but sometimes they don't teach you why you're doing something, and sometimes it'll leave people with in their learning process. Some people need to understand what is happening, and also a lot of things that I don't like about the apps are that they don't really teach you pronunciation. They don't teach you the sounds. They don't teach you things that are very important, especially for your pronunciation purposes. So native content is everything, because you can shadow native content, you can repeat, copy, you can respond in a journal to the native content, talk about what you watch and things like that. And also through the native content, you actually get a grasp of how the spoken language actually is. The apps and things like that, they give you a lot of textbook language, and sometimes it's very outdated. And my final bonus tip is to figure out your learning style. Figure out how you learn best, guys, because this is going to catapult your learning journey so much. It'll stop you from using all the wrong resources. If you know you're a visual learner, watch more TV shows, movies, podcasts, and things like that in the language, so it doesn't seem like so much of studying. Oh, I have to study. No. Oh, I'm going to watch a movie in Arabic. Oh, I'm going to watch an episode in Spanish. Do these things because it will help you tremendously. It'll keep your process fun. It'll keep you engaged. And the more you do it, the faster you will learn that language. I promise. Don't let anybody tell you anything. As fast as you want to learn that language, you will learn that language. Another great tip is a lot of people feel like they don't have enough time in a day to study a language, and that is una mentira, because you have plenty of time. You can study without physically sitting at your table with a pen and a pencil and a notebook. You can do these things while you're doing daily things, while you're brushing your teeth, while you're in the shower, while you're at the gym, while you're in the car ride to work. You can listen to a podcast in a language. You can listen to music in a language. You can watch a TV series in a language. You can do anything without physically sitting in front of your table with a notebook. Don't say you don't have time, because you have plenty. So guys, that is it for this video. I thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, these are the things that I wish I knew before learning a language. I would love to hear anything that you would say that you wish you knew before learning that language. Let me know what language you're learning below. And like I always say, don't say I never told you anything. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.